Lads, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beer and Breakfast on the Showroom View. You've probably noticed by now, due to the hair colour, the paler complexion, and the fact that I ain't said f*** yet, that it's not Jonny, it's Nick. Hello, I'm going to be your presenter today. I run a Sheffield United fan channel, as well as Jonny. We are kind of rivals, but as you can see, I am on the Showroom View, so we're not really rivals, we're mates, and after all, we're all blades, aren't we? So let's crack on with the video. I can confirm that there are no by the numbers today because of reasons that I'm sure Jonny knows. But here is one number for you, a welcome number, the number 7, which that is how many games are left of this horrendously awful season. And that's quite ironic being horrendously awful, because also the number 7 for Sheffield United is John Lundstrom. Now, before we get into Hecky's comments, Jonny's going to be throwing me under the bus because he's going to be putting a predicted lineup with John Lundstrom in it. Jonny, it's not on. It's not on, mate. But enough of my thoughts. There's more Sheffield United fans about to give you their opinion on what's going to be happening in this Wolves game. But before that, let's hear from the Sheffield United manager, Paul Heckingbottom. Still feels weird saying that.
Yeah, well, I think you might look at if they can handle the pressures more long term, because I think if you're drip feeding them in or you bring them in a controlled way, you're sort of managing that pressure. So you can take care of that in the first few steps. But you're certainly looking at, have they got that mentality, that resilience to deal with it further down the line, and you try and instill that at a younger age. But the football ability, handling the ball, and what is their outstanding attribute that's going to get them in the team. I believe wholeheartedly that when you're working with younger players, you're trying to develop and get the players to understand what it is that they bring to the table, what it is that can make them be picked in an 11, not only straight away, but as they go forward. What is their strength as a defender, as an attacker, as a midfielder? What is the standout quality? So it's making sure that they bring something to the party that not necessarily improves the team to start with, but that will prove the team and be the thing that gets them that career. As far as I'm aware, pre-season, I've not. All I know is because the procedure was yesterday, we've just had an update on how well it's gone, and I've not looked into or spoke to Watto in terms of what that looks like beyond this next few days. Because when you get news like that as a player, I've been there, past experience, you just want to know what's next. You know, there's a real mental side to having an injury like that, especially when it's worse than first thought and you have to have an operation on things. So we're just bothered about Sharpie getting his head around that and in the right place to start his rehabilitation. I've lost count the number of times I've said I'd want every player fit, but someone as Sharpie's experience, obviously his connections with the club, club captain, yeah, it's a loss for lots of reasons, not just on the pitch. But we can't moan about it, we can't worry about that. We've got other players out. We seem to get one back and then lose two at the minute, but it's just the way it is, you know. And tends to be when things aren't going your way. What you know, we've had many discussions. What comes first? Is it poor results that lead to injuries, or injuries that lead to poor results? It just seems to go hand in hand. Flecky just got a stiff groin, so we looked after him a little bit last week, and he managed it. The Arsenal game obviously got all the way through, but we just kept him out of full training so far this week as well. So we'll check on him tomorrow. Yeah, as I said, so we've had a few sessions. He's coming on. He's feeling better every day. I'm seeing improvements in him every day in terms of his confidence in his injury and how he's moving, and he sees that as well. So yeah, he'll keep pushing, he'll keep working, and hopefully sooner rather than later we'll be able to get him back involved. Yeah, it's obviously limiting us, but we are still looking, because if you can't change the personnel, the system we can change. So yeah, we'd be foolish not to look at it, you know. As I said, we want to keep fighting till the death, till the very end, and to do that we need to pick up results. And in terms of when we debrief in the games and we're looking back at it, we've had a bit of everything. I thought we had the chances in the Chelsea game. We certainly had the physical outputs in the Leeds game, but we're open in certain ways. Against Arsenal, similar again, we didn't create enough, I thought, even though we had more of the ball second half when we made the change. So we're always looking to improve. and being able to change the shape is something we could possibly do. Results are everything. You can cling on to things in performance, but belief comes from results. I've been pleased with the way that the players have been training. I've been pleased with them today. Every day that they've come in and we've had a real intensity to how we've worked. We've tried to increase that, and the players have understood why. Again, not just for the short term, but for the longer term. And it's just a really strange situation to be in, and the confidence, you say, is, if it was that easy to resurrect and someone would be a millionaire if they ever figured that out, how easy it was to do that. It's tough. We can all talk about it, but you've just got to knuckle down and work at it. But certainly results do bring that belief in everything you're doing.
Right, so one reason to somewhat look forward to this game was that it was a Saturday 3 o'clock, a reasonable kick-off time. That's not a thing anymore, so I really don't know what the appeal of watching this game is now. Pubs are open, 8:15 on a Saturday. This might be one of the lowest viewerships our games gets this season, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, what is there to say? There's nothing to really analyse. We're just playing a team that looks dejected. McBurney and Sharpen are both out for the season, which, who knows, maybe Brewster will start up front finally. He might. I know Ekinbottom said that he's a good finisher, but he needs to look at different parts of his game before he plays. But what parts of the game does Lundstrom have that keeps him in the team week after week, even though he don't want to be here? I've resisted making comment because I don't like singling players out, but I think it's very common knowledge that he's not exactly popular amongst United fans now. But yeah, Wolves, where it all started this season, 2-0 down after 8 minutes, not a very positive omen where it can see something similar happening. This weekend, it will be 2 or 3-0 because we look dejected. We'll play for a little bit and then we'll just sort of drop off like we have been doing. But yeah, again, I'm being overwhelmingly positive in the last couple of weeks, I'm sure you can tell. But yeah, it's just, you can't see anything else but losses to end the season. Just get a new manager in next season and let's have a go in Championship. Go on, Blades.
Welcome to the Tufty Club's pre-match preview of the Wolverhampton Wanderers game, where we're going to talk about how we're going to lose this week, which will be exactly the same way we lost last week and the week before that. Hello, Mark.
Hello. Yeah, we could just get Jonny to save his time. Come on, we could record a generic one, pause, and then he could do one of his excellent voiceovers and just insert the team name. We're playing, and then he can say Wolves, and then we're going to lose, and then we've got our instructions: 1 or 2-0 if it's a crap team, 2 or 3, or maybe even 4-0 if it's a good team, and then saves us all some effort. Don't have to wait on us taking ages to actually get this filmed and sent to him. Everyone's happy.
We had the Chris Wilder statement yesterday as well, which I suppose we could touch on, but there was not really anything to say because it was all kind of through his management agency, wasn't it? Not nice words, but I don't think he were ever going to come out and say that Abdullah is talking absolute nonsense. And, it was pretty tame, really.
Pointless, almost pointless. I mean, we'll probably discuss it more on podcast on weekend after. I mean, we're trying to avoid talking about the match as much as possible on the podcast, so we'll end up talking about the Wilder statement. But there's not that much to say, to be honest. It was just like as if a fan had written it, which I suppose he is. But yeah, everyone's been saying, "Oh, wonderful, class, brilliant," but it's not said out, has it? Really, we still don't know why he quit potentially.
Lots of stuff on the forums and social media again. I had a quick delve into that. I wish I hadn't. Really gone, this kind of, you've got to take sides, I guess. Like the Wilder v kind of the Prince thing has just gone, ramped up even more with this thing where whose side are you on, you Wilder or you Abdullah? And I know our few listeners know we talk about Cobra Kai quite a lot on the pod, but it is, it brings me, everything comes back to Cobra Kai. No, you don't have to be, Johnny Lawrence or LaRusso. You can actually at different points see the perspectives of both fighters and both people, and I think this is a classic example of that. You at times you say, Wilder had a point, Abdullah had a point. I'm not so sure on that one. So yeah.
Or you can just say, I'm not LaRusso Academy, Miyagi-Do. I'm not Cobra Kai. I'm going to form Eagle Fang and make your own and just hang around in a park. But now, as you know with me, I'm always the fence sitter. I'm always trying to see both sides, basically just so, I've said this before, you can gauge which way everything's going in public opinion and which one eventually is right, so you can slide off the fence that way and go, yep, told you all along. But no, seriously, I do try to see both sides of it, and there's two sides to this one. It is completely, Wilder tried to quit. He probably shouldn't have done. He probably went about a lot of things the wrong way, and then Abdullah's got rid and probably not treated him that well, but it will come in. They're both right, they're both wrong. The important thing is we're right by saying that.
So Wolves coming up in a couple of days, obviously delayed kickoff because of the funeral. What would you like to see out of this game?
I thought you were going to say what would I like to see at the funeral.
Yeah,
it's apt, isn't it? Because it's going to be a corpse followed by 11 blundering corpses, the way it's been going, and then the death of our season. So, yeah, I'd like
something different, whether it's players, tactics, wear a retro shirt, or dye their hair blonde, shave their heads, just do something different. Playing hats, wear a hat, I don't know, just do something different. I want to actually start the game and be like, oh, that's a bit of a shock, whether it is him playing Brewster, dropping Lundstrom, playing a youngster, or something radical.
Or someone's got a John Gannon perm. I agree, just do something, because it's gone, hasn't it? I mean, the season's long gone anyway. What is the point in just plodding on doing the same thing? I can kind of see Heckingbottom's side of it, to be honest, because everyone's saying, what if he believes in kids, why don't he put them in? Well, he's probably saving them. He's going to go back to under 23s. They don't want to bring them into first team where they can
get injured for his team.
Get injured and he's got an eye on how to develop him properly, and there's an argument developing him by playing against good players in Premier League, but he's got one eye on going back to them and doing the right thing by them rather than just chucking them in, I think. Whether chucking him in is the right thing or not, I don't know. But yeah, just play. So just play Brewster. That'd be the simple thing, wouldn't it? Just that one thing will be something different. But he said,
play Brewster, drop Lundstrom, and people will be, something.
Yeah, he's done something. He's pulled his finger out. He's done something, and everyone would be happy with that. But he's already made his excuses for not picking Brewster. He said, he likes a shot. What's that mean? We don't actually, do we? Maybe that's it. It don't fit in with our style. We don't shoot. We don't score. Brewster tries that too much.
So we've got, I was going to call them the Wolves, but they do get called the Wolves, don't they, a bit? That's not something I've made up, isn't it? Yeah, that's a thing.
It sounds a bit
like the
American,
Wednesday, isn't it? Back in the day, but they've not had as good a season as last season, but they've obviously won a few games. Unlike us,
they've had an infinitely better season than us, haven't they? And comfortable mid-table is fine. I know it's not what they've been aiming for and hoping for recently, but this season's been a weird one anyway. I'm not going to buy into all that making excuses about, fans aren't being in, therefore we'd have been top, or whatever people keep saying. If we'd had fans, we'd have been up there again. But there is some degree of that. This season's just been weird for a lot of reasons, and there've been quite a few surprises and teams struggling or teams doing well when you wouldn't expect. But they're doing about all right, about what you'd expect, I think, and miles better than us.
So they're doing all right. It doesn't put them as good, doesn't put them as bad. So what, you're going to go for 1.5-0?
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Well, that's why there's the leeway. 1-0 or 2-0 for a crap team, 2-0 or 3-0 for a good team. So I'm looking at 2-0, aren't I? Yeah, I might go 2-1 though. I think we might score. We're edging towards that. We'll just miss that beating the worst ever goals record, which, well, you put something on the forum about, didn't you? About the goals and I think someone else might put that, but about the record losses.
Yeah. Record losses per percentage wise, and we'd have to, if we lost every game, we'd win it. The most losses, pro rata over a season. So
if we lost, we'd win.
Yeah. So no, I'm with you. I think 2 or 3-0. I think Traore will absolutely destroy Stevens, but we'll watch it.
We'll watch it, and then we'll complain about it afterwards. So we'll see you back here for that.
Wolves away this Saturday, and I don't think it's going to be particularly one for the neutral. I think Wolves have struggled compared to what they have done over the last couple of years. I think they sit in 14th place at the minute, which is bad for their standards, and obviously where we are, obviously because we're just terrible and awful. So I don't think it's going to be one for the neutral. Saturday 8:15 kick-off. I get why it's been moved, obviously because of the funeral and stuff like that, but Saturday at 8:15. This Saturday nights weren't bad enough without United ruining it, but it is what it is, I suppose. Do I expect anything from the game? Not really. Heckingbottom's comments in the week about Brewster have just absolutely, it's not, I wouldn't go as far as sickened me, but it's just added to the fuel, added to the fire for me about why I don't want this man to even take another game, to have a go at Brewster after barely any game time as it is, then to have a go at him about he scores goals but he doesn't do this right and this right. Well, let's have a look at your central midfielder that does fuck all right, to be honest with you, and you continue to pick him. So that obviously upset me. Nice to hear Chris Wilder's statement, by the way. Again, massive thanks to Chris Wilder for what he's done. It was a class statement from a class man, and I really hope he goes on to get a top job soon. Score predictions, I think it could be a ball draw. I'll go ball draw 0-0, and another game ticked off for this year. Up the Blades.
Hi guys, quick video for Jonny at Showroom View. Excuse the duvet, it's wash day. Is it even worth watching it at 8:15 on a Saturday night? To be honest, I'd rather be balls deep in a bottle of cider or something, or in some rum. But postman, I'd rather watch it just because the fact that we'll have his fate sealed. Probably we're not going to win, are we? Let's be honest. I mean, I've said time and time again, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, but while ever Wilder is in conversation with Paul Heckingbottom and potentially picking team based on him asking for help and support, doesn't fill me with any great confidence. The guy is now no longer our manager, so we need to be doing things the correct way. And as far as I'm concerned, if he's not been paid by the club, he shouldn't be having anything to do with the club. I get that people are going to ask him questions and people are like, but he's our hero. He's gone now. It's done. Let's just pick a team. Let Heckingbottom pick a team. Let him pick a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 or 3-5-2. We don't fucking want to play that anymore. We need to drop some at Deadwood. I've heard that the reasons why we aren't able to pick youngsters is because it then rules them out of being able to play for the under-23s or 21s or whatever it is that they play for, and that is then detrimental to their development and progression, which I understand. However, these players are apparently good enough to be playing in the Championship, according to rumours and reports. I don't know enough about it, but apparently they are good enough. Get them in the first team now, and then get us playing them in the Championship. We've got Norrington Davis out on loan. We've got that Iari kid who's supposedly shit hot, and there's a couple of others, and we should just be playing him. We should be giving him a run out, saying fuck 23s. Who gives a shit about that? It's not going to go on the CV, is it? Get him in squad, get him playing, and let's start smashing some wins. But let's all look forward to Traore versus Stevens at the weekend. That will be an absolute fucking disaster. Up the Blades.
So, if we move on to Wolves away, something to get excited about. Another game I want out that way. Want season over, got no excitement for it, living in fear in it. And if we drop into the box to keeper again, I dare say I'll be throwing me phone at the remote control at television again. Absolutely ridiculous, but there we go. Let's get this season over.
So next up for the Blades is Wolves, and this is the match that could put us the big red R at the side of our name. Not a moment too soon, I suppose. I think we've all been waiting for it. It's definitely going to be a loss anyway for us. If we get a goal, I'll be happy, to be honest with you. I'm going to say it again, don't play Lundstrom. Try something different, put Ampadu in midfield for me, Jagielka at back. And I don't see why Keane Bryan's not inside. Play him, because I don't think he's done anything wrong not to play, because Stevens is definitely not the left centre back, and I think Osborne is just not a left wing back for me. I'd rather have him in midfield if I have to. Play Brewster up front. I don't see why we're not playing him if he's there for next season. The one that wants us to just give him a bit of game time for us. Apart from that, just give it a go, give it a try. Not to lose now. Try and see if we can pick up some points till end of season, and get the big R at Siders, I suppose, and move on. Wolves a decent side at the moment, I suppose, and even they're being hit with injuries, but still playing pretty well. Only one outcome. Well, here we go.
So in regards to youth players, I understand what Hecky's saying about not bringing the youth team in so quickly, not rushing them in. I understand it's probably going to be quite a negative sort of squad to be around at the moment. But at the same time, just use them a little bit. Just give them 20 minutes here, half an hour there, even 5 or 10 minutes, even just time with the squad. I know a few of them have been given that recently, but it's just great professional experience for them to just be in and around a first team senior squad. And when he's talking about all the players giving 100%, I mostly agree with him. Yeah, I believe that George Baldock's giving it all. I believe that John Egan's giving it all. I believe that even Flecky, no, I believe that they're all giving it all, except John Lundstram. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for 1 second. Arsenal, Leeds, do I need to go on? The amount of games that he's phoned it in, not chased back. He used to get in that box as much as he possibly could. He was like a bit of a Frank Lampard at the beginning of last season. Constantly just kind of ghosting in at the last minute and scoring goals. He's not done that since the Leeds match at home. No away, at home, when he missed that chance when Meslier made that brilliant save. That was the last time I remember him getting into a really good position to maybe score a goal. He's been nowhere near since. Anyway, let's not talk about John Lundstram all the way through this video because I could talk about him for probably 2 or 3 hours. Anyway, we have had a lot of really unlucky injuries at unlucky times. And probably the most unlucky with his injury was Sander Berge. And it's looking like he's on the fringes of kind of coming back into the first team squad, which is great to see. We all want to see Sander Berge whip on that Sheff United top. But at the same time, do we really want him coming back? One, either too early and getting injured again, or two, coming back, playing really well, and we're just putting him in the shop window for someone to come in and buy. Like, don't get me wrong, if he's going to go, yeah, we want as much money for him as possible, but at the same time, I don't want to lose him. I'd rather him not play the rest of the season and we have him in the Championship. Also this week, Billy Sharp and Ollie McBurney have both announced that they're going to be out for the rest of the season with injuries. Just can't get any worse, can it? Now, I'm not saying they're going to fire us off the bottom of the Premier League, but currently we've got 4 strikers left. We've got Ollie Burke, who's a speedboat with no steering wheel. We've got Ryan Brewster, who is a boy playing in a man's league currently. We've got a sick note Moose, and we've got Didsey. Well, Didsey's just Didsey, isn't he? He's just a Rolls Royce of a player. A beautiful man, if you would. Anyway, before I confess my undying love for Mr. David McGoldrick, let's have a look what's coming up in Blades Media. First up, we've got the man with 100 names, Roy, Panchero, Andrew, Shirley at the weekends, with Roy's view from the Wolves game, Prematch, which is out now, so what are you waiting for? Coming up on Monday the 19th of April is That Day at Darlington. And if you're younger than about 45, you may not even know what happened, so I won't ruin it. Check it out on this channel, you won't regret it. Later on today, you'll find 2 dashingly handsome men watching the Blades game along with you if you choose to join us. So that's the Sheff United Way's watch along, which starts 30 minutes before the game at 7:45. Then after that, we've got the post-Wolves Roy's view, which will just be Wolves fans saying how shit we are, and that we're probably going to do a Sunderland. You've also got all your Blades podcasts, such as Tufty Club, Blades Pod, and of course, 4 Blades in the Pub. All really fun and interesting listens every week, even though the football has been woeful this season. At least we haven't lost our senses of humour. And last but not least, we've got one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Sheffield United goalkeeper on this channel on Tuesday the 20th of April. That is Tuesday coming up. And I'm absolutely buzzing for this one, as it's a Chat with Alan Kelly podcast with Jonny. What a fantastic keeper he was, and I bet he's a lovely bloke. And if you're wondering where to find all these Blades medias, they're all in the description box below right now. So after this video's finished, go and check them all out. Next up is another instalment of The Lane is Calling. Enjoy.
Hiya, I'm Jonny, and you know me as the buffoon that founded, runs and edits the Showroom View. You know what, I don't remember my first match. I'm led to believe it was a big win. I think it was against Tottenham. I couldn't tell you if that's accurate or not. My dad seems to change it every time that we bring up my first match. The first match I actually vividly remember, I was actually a mascot at Burnley away. My uncle sadly passed away in that stadium at Turf Moor while we were playing Burnley in a fixture. At the club, both Sheff United and Burnley have always been great with my family, and it gave me the opportunity, along with my cousin, to be a mascot of that game. It meant a lot to me, obviously representing my family there that day, and I got to meet my hero, Alan Kelly, which was a massive highlight for me, one that took a long time to be topped. I honestly don't think there's any way to explain how fundamental to our lives it's become, and what a huge part of it is, and what exactly has been taken away from us. A lot of people are under the impression it's just a game, it's just sport. It's so much more than that. Maybe on the pitch it is just a game, but that game has taken over every facet of our lives. It's our passion, it's our obsession. It dictates where we go on a weekend, it dictates our plans, to an extent it dictates how we parent our kids. It dictates how we make friends and who we socialise with. It dictates conversations in not just a workplace, but general strangers. It's the one common language of the country, it's football. And people like to dismiss it as just being silly, but I don't think you can understate enough how much we feel like life has been altered radically, and how much we're suffering for it. Matchday routine. You see, my matchday routine is pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Pub as early as possible, as many ales down me as I can, into the ground, sing my heart out. I think it's safe to say that the friendships that have been formed from pre-game antics, shall we call them, have made a big part of my life, and they shaped a lot of my life, and they're just as important to me as the match itself. Spending time with what I'd call my family, my genuine family, and family that I've made myself through friendships and connections over the years, and it's a massive part of my life. I got my first season ticket where I wasn't just tucked in under my dad's arm. My first official season ticket with my name on, even though I've been going for quite a while at this stage, in the 97-98 season. For me it was a golden era of learning the game in itself. I got more understanding of how things worked, how football worked. It wasn't just 11 blokes on a pitch that your hero worshipped for nothing. Going to games and sitting with your friends and watching these players and developing your grasp of the game, it gave you a new insight into it, and it built those seeds of obsession of a sport, and it instilled that love of your club. Something I'll never forget is those formative years of just growing a love for Sheffield United Football Club, and one that I'll never lose. Of course, after you've supped all your pints and you've dissected the pre-game as much as you can and pushed the time up to as much as you can, you stroll down to the ground. I say stroll in the most subjective way I can, because it's more of a stagger to the ground. And it's then you start feeling it. You start feeling that atmosphere, the walk around the ground. Our walk passes right past the away fans, and you can see how they're going to be up for the day, and you get a general sense of what the atmosphere will be like in that little cauldron where the cricketers is, where you've got the away fans and the home fans mixing at times, depending on who you're playing. You can tell what the atmosphere in the ground's going to be like, whether it's going to be tense, whether it's going to be nervous, whether it's going to be vocal, and it's those moments as you walk to the ground where you start to get those chills, that bite. It's a match day. This is it. We're going in. It's undescribable, that feeling you get. Funny story about where we used to sit. We started out in the middle with his parents, and then me and a few of my friends and family. In our first real sense of youthful rebellion, we moved right down to the front of the cop, right behind the net. In those days, you could pretty much sit where you want. There was no big crowds. It was the obviously First Division, which is now the Championship. Watching players such as Vasper Bokis play football was just a thrill for us, and to be so close and see the goals going, magic moments. We eventually moved back up towards the middle as we got a little bit older, a little more towards the noise, as we started to be drawn less from just being there as a spectator and chatting between friends and watching the game, and more towards the atmosphere of the games, more of the passion behind it. And that lasted for a long time, until I started smoking, and my dad had to beat 10 shades out of me if he'd caught me smoking. So me, along with my cousin who also smoked, we decided we'd find a new place in the ground, well out of view. So we moved up into the top right-hand corner of the cop to hide from our parents, so we could smoke in peace, back when you could smoke in stadiums. And there was also a decent atmosphere up there. Not long after getting caught and having my arse handed to me, our parents came and joined us up there. Big Kev, Big Rob, they're not both my parents, by the way. They joined us up in that top corner, and it built from there, really. And it's a bit of a vocal following up there, a bit of a rowdy one, let's put it that way, but one I absolutely adore. I think to me, it's hit me very hard this season. Nobody likes to be an armchair fan that's used to going to games. I think it's pretty safe to say that any fan that's used to going to the live matches has been hit majorly hard by this COVID experience, and it's been tough for us to deal with, not being there at the ground, not getting behind the team, not singing. And I truly believe that that's hurt us this season, not just as a fan base, but as a club. And I've missed everybody that I see on a match day. I've missed that friendship, that banter, that sense to take the absolute piss out of each other, where if people didn't know us, they'd swear we were worst enemies, but we love each other dearly. And just the general matchday experience has been lacking, in decline. It's not just hard to get excited for a game because we're not doing well. It's been hard to get excited for games because we miss that family, that friendship that we all build with our selected few people at the games. I don't think I'd be exaggerating if I said that having Bramall Lane to go to every home weekend, having those friends there, having that and I keep calling them family because that's what they are at this stage. I have my own little family, my kids and people closest to me, but then I have my family at the football, and the friendships have grown to a stage where they are family, and I'll never hear anybody say any different, and that has saved me as a person on numerous occasions, just having that escape at a weekend that a lot of us, and I understand a lot of people struggling at the moment because it has been taken away from us. You take it for granted, and it's only now that we understand how important those moments are to treasure, and it's one that I'll never take for granted ever again. And that electrifying moment where we all finally get to stand up with our arms in the air and in unison ring out, "You fill up my senses," will be the moment we've all been waiting for, to know that not only is football back, but our lives are back.
So that's me done. So I'm going to give you a little insight into how I think this game's going to go. I think we're going to start the game well, on the front foot, as we always seem to do. And then I feel like Wolves are going to score, and then we're going to sit back, defend. Wolves will score more goals. The end. This season's broken me. For a score prediction, the preview that I did on my channel, I said we're going to lose 3-0. Yeah, I don't think we're quite going to lose 3-0. But it's probably going to be a routine 1-0 defeat. It's happened that many times this season. Why won't it happen again? So thanks for watching. Hopefully I've not put you off Showroom View for life. Jonny's a great bloke. This channel is incredible as well. I love watching every single video on this channel. So make sure you do too. Subscribe, like the video, and up them blooming blades.